Hello dear viewers, I'm back with another video on adjectives. In the previous video, we looked at the descriptive, possessive, interrogative and demonstrative adjective. Here in this video, we are going to look at the indefinite, quantitative and distributive adjectives. We are also going to learn an interesting fact about pronouns. Yes, you heard it right. I said pronouns, because here we are going to see how a few pronouns act as adjectives. If you want to know, kindly watch the video till the end. Now without further ado, let's get started with the first category of adjective, which is indefinite adjective. Now we all know what is the job of an adjective. An adjective is a word which describes or gives us more detail or information about a noun or a pronoun in a sentence. Now the word indefinite means something which is not specific or something which is not definite. Hence, indefinite adjectives are used to describe a noun or a pronoun in a non-specific sense. Here the words in green are the commonly used indefinite adjectives. Any, some, many, few, much, most, several, both, etc. I don't know if you remember. We learned the same words as indefinite pronouns, but now we are learning them as indefinite adjectives. Are you wondering how is that possible? Well, we shall understand the difference as to when these words are called as adjectives and when they are called as pronouns while looking at a couple of examples. But before that, let us have a look at the note given here. Indefinite adjective should not be confused with indefinite pronouns. Indefinite adjectives modify or describe nouns or pronouns, whereas indefinite pronouns are standalone pronouns. We should not be confused with indefinite adjectives and indefinite pronouns, because the job of indefinite adjectives is to describe the noun or a pronoun, whereas the job of indefinite pronoun is to replace the noun. They don't describe. What do? They replace it. In other words, we do not see a noun after indefinite pronoun because its job is to replace the noun. Hence, these are standalone. Standalone means they are alone. There is no noun immediately after a pronoun. Indefinite adjectives are always followed by a noun, but there is no noun next to indefinite pronoun. Alright, let us understand this concept by looking at a couple of examples. In the first sentence, there are some paints on the table. The word some here is indefinite adjective because it is describing the noun paint in a non-specific sense. We are saying some paints, we don't know how many. Hence, some here is not replacing the noun paints. It is describing or modifying about the noun paints. Hence, it is indefinite adjective. In the second part, there are some in the drawer. There are some paints in the drawer. Here, we did not write paints. Why? Because we have replaced the noun paints with indefinite pronoun some. Some here is indefinite pronoun as there is no noun after this pronoun and it is replacing it. In the second sentence, is there any sugar left? Any here is again indefinite adjective because it is describing the noun sugar in a non-specific sense. It is not replacing the noun. It is not replacing the noun. It is describing. No, there isn't any. Any here is indefinite pronoun because there is no noun after this pronoun. This any is written in the place of the noun sugar. It is replacing. We are not writing any sugar. Hence, any is indefinite pronoun here. This is how these words can be adjectives and indefinite pronouns depending on the sentence. Whenever there is indefinite adjective, what is its job? Its job is to describe about a existing noun or a pronoun, whereas an indefinite pronoun's job is not to describe. Its job is to replace the noun. We don't see any noun after indefinite pronoun. I hope you have understood what is the difference between indefinite pronouns and indefinite adjectives. Now let us look at the quantitative adjectives. Now the word quantitative refers to the quantity. So these adjectives are used to describe the quantity of the noun or a pronoun. Look at the definition here. Quantitative adjectives refer to how many or how much of a thing. They are used to talk about the quantity of the noun. As we can see here, there are two kinds of quantitative adjectives. They are adjectives of quantity and adjectives of number. Adjectives of quantity answer to the question as to how much of a quantity, how much of a noun. All these words here are adjectives of quantity. Enough, sufficient, a little, little, some, much, any, etc. Because they refer to certain quantity which is not countable. Now these adjectives of quantity are used with uncountable nouns. For example, there has been enough rain, there has been sufficient rain, or there has been a little rain. Rain is a noun which is not countable. Hence you use adjectives of quantity to show the quantity of a noun. How much did it rain? There has been enough rain, or there has been little rain, etc. Let us look at the adjectives of number. The word number itself suggests something which is countable. Now these adjectives can either be cardinal or ordinal. Cardinal means all the numbers like 1, 2, 100, million, etc. Ordinal, on other hand, refer to the ranking or the position. For example, first, second, third, etc. There is one packet of cheese, or there is one girl in the class. There are a million stars in the sky. Million there is adjective of number. He is the first child in the family. Word first is the ranking or the position of the child in the family. She is the second daughter in the family. What is the position? She is the second. She is in the second place. She sat on the third row. Third again is adjective of number. It is ordinal in nature. All these adjectives refer to the quantity in numbers, or they answer the question how many, and these are used usually with countable nouns. Alright, coming to the final section of adjectives, which is distributive adjectives. Distributive adjectives are used to describe about the noun or a pronoun individually, or let us assume there are 100 people in a room. If you want to describe about each member of the group individually, then you use distributive adjectives. Let's look at the definition here. Distributive adjectives are used to describe each member of a group individually. Each, every, either, and neither. Now, we have also seen these words in our pronoun videos. These words can either be pronouns or adjectives. The words either and neither are multi-talented. They can either be pronoun, adjectives, adverbs, or even conjunctions. Never mind, in this video we shall understand how these words are used as adjectives and as well as how they can be used as pronouns. Before understanding these words through examples, let us first understand the meaning of each of these distributive adjectives. Let us first take or understand the difference between each and every. We think each and every are the same, but there is a slight difference. Each is used when you want to describe people in a group individually or one by one, whereas the word every refers to everyone in a slightly general way. Each is more particular, one by one, whereas every is little general and it refers to the entire group. Let us look at the examples here. Every student should do his work. In the first example, let us assume your teacher says this sentence: every student should do his homework. She is referring to every single student in a general way. She is referring to all the students in a general sense, which means every single student should do his homework. Now, let us assume she says the second sentence: each student should do his work. If she calls out the names Tina, Tom, Joy, Julie, each of you should do your homework. Here she is referring to the students or the members of the group individually, one by one. Here in every, she referred to every student in a general way. Coming to each, she is referring to the students individually, one after the other. I hope you have understood the slight difference between each and every. Let us now understand the difference between the distributive adjectives either and neither. Either refers to any of the two options. Let us assume that you have two dresses, one is of pink color and the other is of blue color. You ask your friend, which of the two dresses should I wear? Your friend says, either dress would be perfect. When she says this sentence, either dress would be perfect, she means that you can wear pink, you can wear blue, you can wear any of the two. Both would look perfect. Hence, either means any one of the two or both. Neither is the opposite of either. Neither means not either or none of the two options. If she says neither dress would be perfect, if she says neither dress would be perfect, which means what? Pink is not perfect and blue is also not perfect. None of the two options, neither pink nor blue. Hence, neither is also used with two things, but it is the opposite of either. Now that you have understood the meanings of each of these four distributive adjectives, let us look at the note now. Neither, either, each and every follow a singular verb. Now, you should always use a singular verb along with these adjectives. Each, every, either and neither. Why are you supposed to use a singular verb? Is because they refer to the members of a group individually. They are used to talk about the nouns or the pronouns individually and not as a group. Hence, they are singular in nature. You should use singular verbs with these singular adjectives. You can use the verbs as is, am, was, has. These are the only verbs you are supposed to use with these distributive adjectives. When these words each, every, either and neither are used with the preposition of, each of, either of, neither of, they are said to be pronouns. They are said to be distributive pronouns and not distributive adjectives. And when you use these words as distributive pronouns, they can have either singular or plural verb. Confused? Well, don't be. Let's look at the examples here to understand when these words can act as adjectives and when these words can act as pronouns. In the first sentence, either of them is or either of them are in the room. I told you either refers to any one of the two or both. Either here is what? A distributive pronoun. Why? Do not confuse with the pronoun them here. You may ask me that when there is a pronoun, there should not be another pronoun or a noun, because the very job of pronoun is to replace the noun. Why do we write two pronouns in the same sentence? Well, this pronoun them is linked with the preposition of. This is the object of the preposition of. This is not linked with either. Hence, either is the subject. Now, a subject can either be a noun or a pronoun. Now, it is obvious that either cannot be a noun. I have not heard anyone by the name either. Hey, either come here. No, we don't hear either as nouns. So, either here is a pronoun. It is the subject of the sentence. Either, since it is singular in nature, grammatically we have to use is, a singular verb with a singular pronoun. Either of them is in the room is more suitable or more correct grammatically. But in informal English, people use either of them are in the room. Well, communication wise, both are correct. But grammatically, if we go as per the rule, either is not referring to a group, it is talking about one of the two people, always considered as singular. But when it is used as a pronoun, or if it is used with the preposition of, we use singular or plural noun or a pronoun. Here we have used either of them. This them is plural, but that doesn't mean we have to use plural verb. You have to think of the nature of the pronoun, of the subject. Either is always considered singular. Hence, either of them is in the room. In the second sentence, neither of the answers is or are right. Neither is the opposite of either. Neither means not either or none of the two options. Let us assume that there are two answers, answer A and answer B. Answer A is not correct, answer B is also not correct. Hence, neither of the answers is correct. You are referring to those two answers individually. Hence, it is singular. And here, it is a pronoun and not distributive adjective. It is a distributive pronoun. Why? Because again, it is the subject of the sentence. And there is a preposition after it. Do not confuse with the noun answers here. This answer is part of the preposition of. It is linked with the preposition of and not with the subject. Hence, neither is a distributive pronoun. Neither of the answers, irrespective of whether this is plural or singular, grammatically it is considered correct if you use singular verb with the singular pronouns. Neither of the answers is right. However, in spoken English, people say neither of the answers are right. But grammatically, you have to say neither of the answers is right. Answer A is not right, answer B is not right. Hence, you are referring to them individually, one by one. Hence, you have to use singular verb is. In the third example, either road is safe. Either here is distributive adjective because there is a noun immediately after it. Either road is safe. It is referring to one of the two roads. Let us say there are two roads, road A and road B. Road A is safe and road B is also safe. You can choose any one of the roads. Since you are referring to these two roads individually, this is singular. Hence, you have to use singular verb is. Either road is safe. This either is describing about the noun road. It is not replacing it. In the fourth example, neither road is safe. Neither means A is not safe, B is also not safe. Hence, neither is describing about the two roads individually. So you have to use singular verb is. Neither road is safe, and neither here is also distributive adjective. In the next example, each of the boys means every single boy or individual boy, one by one. So you are referring to the members of the group individually. As you are referring to them individually, each is considered as singular. It is a pronoun. Why? Do not confuse with the noun boys here. This noun is not linked to this each. It is linked to the preposition of. We have got nothing to do with this part of the sentence. Cut it out. Each is the subject and it is a pronoun. Why? Because a subject can either be a noun or a pronoun. Now, each cannot be a noun. Have you heard any person with the name each? No. Hence, it is a pronoun and it is referring to the members individually, one by one. Hence, it is singular in nature. It is a distributive pronoun here. Each of the boys did his homework is correct grammatically. But in spoken, you can say each of the boys did their homework. In the next example, every boy did his homework. Every boy, you are referring to all the boys. In a general way, all the boys did. But since you are referring to all the boys individually, you use a singular pronoun. Every boy did his homework. Every here is distributive adjective. It is not distributive pronoun. Why? Because there is boy immediately after the word every. And you don't write nouns immediately after pronoun. In the last sentence here, each girl has baked a cake. Now each here is distributive adjective. Why? Because it is describing about each member of the group. each individual girl. Hence, it is singular distributive adjective, and as it is singular, we have to use singular verb, has. I hope you have understood the concept of distributive adjectives and distributive pronouns. So that was all for today's video. In the upcoming video, we shall look at the articles, which are also the part of adjectives. Until then, goodbye and take care.